The World Bank just destroyed Trump's Tuesday with some brutal news. Unfortunately, it's not good news for the rest of America either. Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. Though the Los Angeles protests and his breakup with Elon Musk have dominated headlines in recent days, the saga of Trump's trade war has not gone away either. Though a new jobs report last week said the economy added about 130,000 jobs in May, that number is softer than expected. Experts chalk that up to the ongoing trade war over Trump's tariffs, and despite his assurances, President Taco is nowhere near closer to making deals with our biggest trade partners.
US and Chinese officials are meeting in London this morning for a second day of trade talks. The two sides hope to secure a breakthrough over export controls amid this ongoing trade dispute between the world's two largest economies. Remy Inocencio continues to follow these ongoing talks and joins us now from London. Remy, good morning to you. We've got day two under the way now. What is the mood around them this morning? Because I know that the rare earth minerals was a topic you brought up yesterday.
Yes, a tense spot here, but the mood actually appears to be optimistic, Errol. Last night, right here, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that they had a good meeting with the Chinese delegation as he was heading out. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick called day one fruitful. It's noteworthy that he's actually here because he's also in charge, crucially, of export controls. But across the pond, I should say, and across the pond over in Washington, Trump also signaled very good vibes. Take a listen.
We are doing well with China. China's not easy. Now I'm only getting good reports.
But wait, there is more. The White House's economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, also said something positive, Errol. He said that the U.S. would probably agree to get rid of limits on exports of some semiconductors if China opened the gates for rare earths to start going back to the United States. All these comments setting the table, at least for the U.S. side. Important to note that China's chief negotiator, He Lifeng, did not say anything to reporters as he was leaving. But culturally, I have to point out that that would be strange, dissonant, if he answered questions that people were shouting.
Right, okay, so those are two important details that you mentioned yesterday would be key in these talks getting somewhere. Also, the fact that this is even spilling into a second day itself, is that also a positive sign, considering it was only meant to be a one-day chat?
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose there. Talking is better than walking, right? Those talks restarted just a couple hours ago, and then in these next several hours, they could direct the economic path, fate, really?
For the record, most experts believe President Xi of China is totally calling Trump's bluff on this. Even with the possibility of the deals mentioned in that clip, that doesn't really change the trade dynamic between the US and China from what it was prior to Trump declaring his asinine tariffs in the first place. President Taco wants to look like he's making deals, but in reality, he's just blowing smoke, and the Chinese know it. Either way, Trump has imposed massive tariffs on steel and aluminum in the past week, and the ongoing hand-wringing over his trade war has finance experts nervous. It also has companies nervous, of course, and now it seems like the uncertainty of the past 5 months is finally catching up with Trump and with the U.S. economy. The New York Times now reports that the world economy is experiencing a rapid slowdown thanks to Trump's tariffs, which have thrown a major wrench into international trade. This year will only see about 1.4% growth due to Trump's tariffs. That's down from 2.5% in 2024 and the worst growth report in more than 60 years. It's also important to note that the World Bank had forecast a 2.4% growth in January just before Trump took office. That's a monumental downgrade of faith in the United States economy. According to the World Bank, quote, "The rise in trade barriers, heightened uncertainty, and the spike in financial market volatility are set to weigh on private consumption, international trade, and investment," unquote. It added that investment was likely to cool, quote, "due to record high uncertainty, the rise in financing costs, and reduced domestic and external demand," unquote. So, make no mistake, this is not Joe Biden's economy. It belongs to Donald Trump, top to bottom. And though job numbers may have looked solid last month, if this report is accurate, that number is going to crater as corporations cut jobs to preemptively boost their stock prices and as cost of business increases due to tariffs. And all of this says nothing of Trump's budget abomination that has currently stalled in the Senate, which would gut the very programs unemployed Americans rely on to keep an even keel while looking for work. In sum, between the tariffs, the budget bill, and the economic slowdown, Trump is perpetuating a massive transfer of wealth from middle and working class Americans to the wealthiest global elites. This is robbery at the highest level, and if nothing else, it proves Trump does not give a damn about the working class voters that propelled him to office in the first place. They will be hurt most by all of this. So, brace yourselves and say a prayer, dear viewers. If you haven't yet, contact your representatives and encourage them to vote no on the budget bill. Press them to rescind Trump's tariff powers. Send a clear message that we don't like our economy held hostage, and furthermore, discuss this with your friends and loved ones. So much has been written about the vibe session that cost Kamala Harris the White House. That is, Americans felt like the economy was in recession even if it wasn't. Wake people up to the truth. Donald Trump has no idea what he's doing, and it's time people wake up to the damage. This is Occupy Democrats.